We brought very little time in our show. We brought John Harwood in, CNBC editor-at-large. Stephanie made a point to John Delaney that it's quite possible that the next president of the United States, who might be one of the 20 who were on stage last night and tonight, are going to preside over an economic slowdown or a recession.
It's very possible.
It's quite possible. We're so far into an expansion.
We're already in a slowdown. We have growth that is expected to be 2% or less for the rest of the year. Decent odds of recession. There's nothing certain. But the idea that President Trump's going to be running in a strong economy is not certain at all. And that's why Democrats are talking so much about economic discontent. Even apart from that, of course, their long-term issues.
Do you actually feel like they are? If you watched last night, it didn't feel, I mean, yes, Elizabeth Warren led with it. But when you walked away at the end of the night, did you really feel like the economy and jobs were front and center?
And answer that in 30 seconds, please.
Well, look, a lot of the questions took them in other directions, guns, immigration, that sort of thing. But no, I do think that the larger issues of income and wealth inequality and wage stagnation among middle and working class people are the backdrop of this election. It was the backdrop for Donald Trump in 2016, and all these candidates are figuring out how to address it. And the question is, do you address it very aggressively, structural change, or more slowly and moderately like Joe Biden is talking about?
And we say aggressively structural change. You're talking about Bernie, you're talking about Elizabeth Warren, who are...
Exactly. The people manning the far left end of the spectrum.
For every person on that stage looking at America, the question is, are you better off?
Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.